Chicago Bears Rookie Minicamp, day 2 in the books. Luther Burden gets banged up. Really nice day from him, though. And Kyle Monangai yet again showing out. We'll talk about all that and more. And I've got a new darling for minicamp on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man, as another day in the books for the Chicago Bears. This is another day of rookie minicamp where, again, we're talking about install. We're talking about guys going out there not winning jobs. There's no amazing technique that we saw from anybody. Everyone relax, but we do have a little bit of news coming out of the day. It's starting off with, of course, Luther Burden going down with a little bit of injury. Now, we don't know the extent of it. He was down for a while after making a spectacular catch, had a great release, got down the field again. These are one-on-ones, no offensive line out there, none of that. But got a great release, got himself open, brought the football in. Seemed to me like he landed on the football and got the wind knocked out of him. But he was down for a considerable amount of time. I would say, I mean, from the time that the injury happened from the time that the incident happened, let's say it that way, to the time we were basically told, all right, that's enough. He was down probably for about 5 to 8 minutes. Got up, walked off under his own power, just kind of was bent over. When asked about it, Declan Doyle basically came out and was like, hey, listen, like, I'm leaving that up to coach. I'm not talking about the injury, which I'm not gonna lie is like the thing where it's like, listen, if you got the wind knocked out of, I get it if there's like an injury, but if you got the wind knocked out of him, just tell me you got the wind knocked out of him, that he's fine. You know what I mean? So we'll see what ends up happening from that, if that is going to be something moving forward. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Like I said, it seemed to me like he just landed on the football after making the catch, made a spectacular catch, had a great release, had a good day yet again, good hands. Love how he's running his routes out there. I think that Luther Burden has really looked good in the first couple of days here. Seems like he's getting everything and has an understanding of what the coaches are looking for and what he needs to show out. So hopefully that's all this is. Just, you know, he got the wind knocked out of him and he's going to be absolutely fine by the end of it. That's something we won't see until tomorrow, though, at Rookie Minicamp, when we do go up there for day 3 of it. The one thing, though, that I think you could take away from today was there was improvement on yesterday. And the story of this entire minicamp has been the coaches. Like what we've seen from Eric Bieniemy, and I've posted a couple clips of what Bieniemy has been talking about, how he's been coaching these guys. What we're seeing from Al Harris, what we're seeing from, and the coaching impact has been talked about by so many players in the press conferences, bro. Like, coaching staff is getting off to a really, really good start. I love how Ben Johnson said it yesterday, right? This is not just a mini camp for the players here. This is a mini camp for the coaches. A lot of new people, a lot of people working together here for the first time, a lot of people bringing in this dynamic on the field for the very first time. And so this is very different. Declan Doyle, first time being an offensive coordinator. You know, what's he getting out of this? And so I love what we're seeing from this coaching staff early on. And the assistant defensive lines coach name escapes me here. Let me look that up real quick, because he was somebody else that stood out in my mind. I mean, I'm trying to see here. Okay, assistant head coach, right? Declan Doyle, Richard Hightower, defensive pass game coordinator. I got that. I got to find the assistant coach, because I want to give him a shout out by name, because he was standing out to me just with how he was going Kyle Devan, I mean, he was getting after these guys. Don't miss that first step. You miss that first step, somebody's going to take your head out. Like, just the consistent, like, hey, you made that mistake, bring that back, run that back. We're not moving on until we get this right. You just worked on that with coach over here. I need to see you do that again and again and again. Those are the things that you want to see your coaching staff do early on. Again, there's not a ton you can take away from rookie minicamp, but what you can take away that I think is tangible, what I think is actually going to be something important for the Chicago Bears here, is that you have a coaching staff that is not letting the small mistakes be small mistakes. No. We're getting on you because the small mistakes can turn into big mistakes down the line, and we don't want them to become big mistakes down the line. Hopefully that is something that we see continue as we get into minicamp, as we get into training camp and different things like that. But seeing that early on, I think it is really exciting. And so I want to give a big kudos to the coaching staff and how they've gone out there and how they've approached this. I mean, you even talk about you know, who was speaking to Zay Frasier today, talking about Al Harris getting on his case and how, you know, the impact that he's had on him with them having similar builds, similar frames, you know what I mean, and what he can go out there and show because of that. You look at even Ruben Hippolite, who, sidebar on this one, I know, and I put this out on Twitter as well, I know that I've been extremely hard on the Ruben Hippolite pick. It's the pick that I probably hate the most. I still think that it has to be seen whether this pick is going to work out. I'm not just because we heard from him today flipping my opinion on him and feeling like, oh my God, this guy's got all the answers. He's going to be just fine out there. No, like I do think that there were other players that could have been available, right? But when you hear this young man talk, when you hear him talk about his story, when you hear him talk about his experience, when you hear him talk about, you know, why he fell and what he's doing to work on this. Dennis Allen talked about it today. He talked about the maturity that this young man brings and why it's going to be, you know, impactful for the Chicago Bears down the line because of how he's got his life set up to where it can be nothing but football for him. And then you hear Ruben Hippolite come out and basically come in and say, like, I understand, you know, where this is at right now, but also I wasn't invited to the NFL Combine. I called twice to check on that. I wasn't invited to any of these workouts. I called multiple times to try and see if people wanted me there. I end up getting top 30 visits and flying around for 2 weeks to go out there and try and see if I can, you know, get on somebody's draft board. And then the Bears end up drafting him. He's a young man who's, one, just grateful to be in this position, which I think is amazing. And two, just has his head on right and just wants to be successful. And listen, as somebody who, do I agree with the pick? No, I don't. I still don't. But as somebody who has been able to follow their dream, as somebody who has been able to go out there and be looked down upon and still be able to find success, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the mindset. I want to see this young man have all the success in the world. First off, he plays for the Bears, so I want to see him be successful, but I want to see him have all the success in the world. I want him to accomplish everything that he hopes that he's going to accomplish. I love what this young man brings mentally to this part of camp. And then hopefully, you know, that translates onto the field physically, and we start to see, you know, how he fits in different ways with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. I wanted to say that because I know I've been hard on the Ruben Hippolite pick, and I still am kind of there, but to want to see somebody succeed, he's one of the people I want to see succeed more than anything out there. But no, like the Ruben Hippolite pick, he talked about, you know, how the coaching staff, getting back to the point I was making here, he talked about how the coaching staff has really helped him early on and how Richard Smith is not letting him off of the hook, how he's like, hey, look, like he said he's on my butt. Every day he's on my butt to get better, to improve. And even at Dennis Allen, you know, he said something small. Dennis Allen came to him and was like, I need you to have a better day this year than you had last year. You know what I mean? Or I need you to have a better day today than you had yesterday. I don't know why it went years. I need you to have a better day today than you had yesterday. Like, those are the things where it's like, hey, I get it. It's rookie minicamp, and how Ruben Hippolite explained it, right? Says Dennis Allen doesn't speak much. He's very quiet. He's to himself. But just him saying that made me lock in and focus even more because, okay, so they do see what I'm doing. They do see what I'm saying and what I'm trying to go out here and accomplish. So I love it. I love how this coaching staff has approached minicamp to this point. I love the fact that Dennis Allen walked out. Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson both walked out to the podium and basically were like, listen, nothing's going on here. We are teaching guys how to play football. Nothing is happening. There you go. Now ask your questions about all the nothingness that is happening here. I love that. I think it sets the tone. It sets the standard and lets you know, listen, we're just trying to get these guys in. There's no depth chart being set. There's no jobs being won. And I think that's the part that a lot of Bears fans are trying to read too much into with this right now. Can I say there's some people where you see him on the field and it kind of feels like he might be a little bit low on this. He might be a little bit he might not be the favorite, right? Haskins, he might not be very high on Eric Bieniemy's running back list because usually when the yelling ensues, Deion Haskins is the one that is getting yelled at. Now the whole room is getting yelled at all the time as well. Kyle Monangai included in that, but feels like he's the one that's usually dealing with that. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show. Love it. The like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. Talked about the Luther Burden getting banged up. We'll see tomorrow what ends up happening if this is something that's going to keep him out tomorrow. If he's back out there tomorrow, he just got the wind knocked out of him. Don't know why Declan Doyle did that. Talked about the coaching staff. Looking at the offensive line today, was excited by some of the things that, again, Ozzie just looks comfortable on that left side. That's really all you can take from this. How comfortable does a guy look? Doesn't look like he's thinking about it. Doesn't look like he's trying to adjust, I guess is the best way to say it. It doesn't look like he's trying to adjust. It just looks like he's, okay, I play left tackle now. And I guess that's one of the takeaways that I have where I'm like, it's good to see that. I'm trying to think like the big overarching thing of the day that's not my darling. I'm trying to push my darling off here because I got a Cam Darling for you that you guys are just going to have to be locked in on. Looking at Kyle Monangai right now, he looks like an answer, boys. He looks like an answer. He looks like somebody who, when you talk about a young running back coming in, making an impact right away, I think we all knew that the young man could run. We all knew that he had the talent. We got to see a little bit of the blocking on display today as well with some of the drills. I got a video of that up on my Twitter where, you know, basically the quarterback picks which guy he's going to throw it to, ends up throwing it to, I want to say it was Luther Burden on that play, and Kyle Monangai comes in, hits the bag hard, good block, just kind of identified it easily. Kyle Monangai is going to be somebody who's going to make an impact on this team quickly. That's truly how it feels. And I would not be surprised if we're talking about Kyle Monangai being an impact player early on in this season, in this process. I think he's having, when you see it, he just looks far and above the rest of the running backs in the room, right? And with a 7th round pick, you wouldn't expect that, a 7th round pick to an undrafted guy. A 7th round pick to an undrafted guy, you wouldn't expect to see this vast gap. It feels like there is a gap between what he's doing. His footwork is better. His speed is better. His hands are better. He's not, I'm not going to sit here and say he did have one play today where, and Ben Johnson didn't throw it dead, but this was in 7-on-7 drill where he dropped back. They kicked the ball out to the left side. Monangai grabbed caught the football out of the backfield, made a move, made a guy miss, shot down the field. I would say he's a guy who is quick, not fast, but when you saw him make that plant cut, get up, it was quick, and he made a guy miss, and he got down the field. Ben Johnson didn't blow the whistle dead, so I don't know if that counted as a tackle or not, but That to me is seeing something where, you've got a good talent on this team in Kyle Monangai just early on, and you can see the separation clearly. Looking at some of the guys who are the camp darlings, by the way, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us as always, man. Was it in 7-on-7 drills or one-on-one with Luther Burden? It was in 7-on-7. When Luther Burden got banged up, it was in the 7-on-7. One guy, and I'll say this, I think it was a good day for a couple of the undrafted guys. I thought that Major Wright had a good day. Major Wright took it back there, didn't I? I thought Major Burns had a good day. I thought that J.P. Richardson, who is my darling, there he is. The darling of this offseason is going to be J.P. Richardson. I was standing there with Alex Shapiro and Clay Harbor, and we're watching him go through his stuff. And Clay just looks at me and was like, Pat, you may be right about this J.P. Richardson kid. He's quick. He's not fast. He's quick. He makes his moves. He's very intentional. He can get past the guy extremely fast. Dare I say, I told Tommy Waddle this yesterday. He's my watch for Tommy Waddle guy. He's my Waddle watch of camp. Because he's just quick, precise, has really good hands. I'm not gonna lie to you. We sat there, we hyped him up, we're watching him, he's making catches, he's snagging the ball all over the place. And then the first play of 7-on-7 that was thrown to him, straight through the hands. We were like, oh my God. I did all this hyping up. And now, you finally end up dropping the pass. But, I mean, he's so intentional with his movements. I love this kid out of TCU. I think that he is going to be somebody who is absolutely a dog. I think he has a great chance to make this team. Now, it's a lot of wide receivers on this team. There's a lot of DBs on this team. I think that both of those things prove to make it difficult for either of that position to just make the team outright. I mean, you'd be talking about taking 7 wide receivers on. Then no team is doing that, right? But with injury, when injuries happen, right? Could J.P. Richardson be somebody who steps in and is able to go out there and make a play? 100% he can, because out of the slot, he's just one of those guys who I remember watching his tape. I want to say he was playing Arkansas, and you could see him look at the linebacker that's coming down and go, he's going to take my head off. And he just was like, I better catch the ball. Turns back to the quarterback, catches the football, gets lit up, jumps right back up, does the first down motion, back into the huddle. Did it hurt? Probably. And I think you need players like that on your team. You need players that are going to exude that toughness, especially in training camp, because that's what pushes people. He's not going to be a player that you can push to his breaking point. He's just not. He's going to be somebody that can go out there on a day in and day out basis and give you good work. And that's what we're seeing here early on. Looking out at the rest of the field, though, man, like it was another good day. I think it was a day that the Bears did get better. I think it was a day that the Bears also, Zay Frasier talked about how the DBs went back to the hotel after practice and really just worked on the playbook, figuring it out, working on not making the same mistakes that they were making the day before. That's huge, right? I think you have a lot of veteran guys in this. In veteran, I mean in age, not in actual like veterans in the NFL, where Ruben Hippolite gave his age. He's 23 years old. He will be 24 in September. You've got Zay Frasier, who is 25 years old already, coming into this, especially with the COVID season and stuff like that. These guys have a ton of experience, and it kind of feels to me like when you're watching the Bears, they feel good enough about the team that they went into this draft saying, we need players who are going to go out there and be able to make an impact right away on the field. I don't need guys that are going to be good in 3-4 years. And so we want to get guys that can hit the field right now and make impact plays. That's really what it feels like when you come away looking at Zay Frasier, when you come away looking at Ruben Hippolite, because with that age already there, I asked Ruben Hippolite the day at the podium, what were his thoughts on being able to, or what was his change in preparation, I guess I should say. And did he feel like he had the change in preparation from the NFL or from college to the NFL? And he was like, listen, no, I'm preparing the same way. I'm going through the same things. I'm digesting the playbook. I'm getting the help from my teammates that I need. And I love how Zay Frasier said it as well. I'm looking to be a leader. You know what I mean, he's looking to be a leader in that locker room because he does have the older age on everyone else. He's looking to be somebody who can go out in that locker room. And when the I guess younger guy, they all rookies, right? But when the younger guys are asking questions on how something works, where he should be on this play, excuse me, Zay talked about how he wants to be the one that can go out there and answer that question for him. And so he's preparing a little bit more. He's doing a little bit extra. So to me, I think that this is it's a good thing to see that you've got these young players looking to step up already. This is the same conversation we talked about with Caleb Williams last season. It's with a later round DB. Remember how Caleb talked about how he wanted to be that guy who, when training camp started, when minicamp started, he could go out there and say, okay, this is where you need to be. This is how we need to do this. And Zay Frasier today, I mean, he had a good day. And Dennis Allen praised him. He had a play where John Jackson, who has been balling here in the 7-on-7 moments, right? John Jackson, of course, a first year, they call them first year players. He got out, I mean, probably had a step on Zay. Zay did a great job, I thought, of recovering. Got in front of the ball, PBU, used that length to his advantage, and just knew where to be. Just knew, okay, this is where I need to be to get back on this play and make this play work. Talked about stabbing at him on that play as well. Right, gave him a little jab, and then found his way back into the play. Like, those are things that you want to see from your young players, especially the ones who are kind of the elder statesmen who, hey, you got to hit the ground running a little bit quicker because you're not going to have nearly as much time on the field as some of these young guys who may get a little more leash. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. I want to get to some of you guys' questions as well. Fire away on the questions. Anything you want to know about that I might have seen at practice. Again, they've got everything spaced out. The DBs, again, were on the far field. We did get to see 7-on-7 up close, so that was cool. Seeing some of those plays and seeing some of those guys go out there and make plays. Pterodactyl Pop said, question, I thought people couldn't swear at around Hallis. So how do you think they're taking Eric B saying F? I think they don't want, what's a good way to say it? When your parents are around, you don't just start letting F-bombs fly, right? That's what it feels like the Bears' stance on cursing is. Right? Like if Virginia's around, if George is around, right? You clean your act up a little bit. I'm sure Eric B's not walking around George McCaskey. He's like, get your ish in order. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's one of those situations versus when you're on the field and you're working and nobody else is out there, say what you say. You do what you do. Now, again, I haven't seen George by the field. Maybe it's not that way. Maybe it is exactly the same, and Eric B is the same dude. Because I'll tell you this, right? This is the one thing that I saw. Oh, he's just doing this for the cameras. I love how people formulate these long-standing opinions while not being up there, by the way. But, everybody, they're hitting the, he's just doing this for the cameras. He's not actually doing this on a consistent basis. Let me tell you this. I think he's doing less for the cameras. There was a moment when he was like, get upfield. No, there was a moment. I'm sorry. Not when he said get upfield. 35, Deion Haskins tripped on all the bags. Like, I mean, he turned around, got the ball, didn't get the first foot down, tripped, started the trip, kicked the second bag, fell on the ground. And Eric B leaned onto this trash can and basically was like, if you bleepity bleeps is going to waste my, and I swear there's a moment where he looked over at us and realized he was on camera and then was like, y'all wasting my time out here, bro. Keep playing with me. Keep playing. I think he's reeling it back for the cameras. Because when the cameras go down, he is not changing. He is 110% who he is. So Don't think that Eric Bieniemy is just out here doing this for show. This is who Eric Bieniemy is. 100%. Excuse me. How's Luther Burden's route running? Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know how he fell to the second round. Every day I go out there and watch this young man play football. I don't know how he fell to the second round. By the way, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. You talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talks Chicago sports. How Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us. Route running looks great. Now again, it's routes on air. It's one-on-ones. There's no pads. There's not a ton you can tell by it. But when you watch his footwork, it's like, oh, he's going to be able to sauce people up off of the line. When you watch his hands look great. So I think that is the best that you can take away from it right now is that it doesn't look like you missed on the pick. That's how it feels with Luther Burden. It doesn't, not only does it not look like you missed on the pick, it looks like you got that pick with elite value. Let's see. I swear like a sailor, but places like here, I clean it up for the kids. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. That's kind of the situation I think it is. Did we finally get a better kicker? I'm gonna be honest with you. There is a kicker there. There's a kicker in the building. I don't think I've seen him kick a football once. And I also have not been like locked in on special teams moments. There is, now here's a little competition for you, a little tidbit that can go out into the world here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got us a new Aussie punter. Apparently, Richard Hightower just loves him a punter from Australia. But there is another Aussie punter who is on this team. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he is booming the football. Let me see where he's at. LaShaw Wilson, 6'3", 193. He's 27 years old. He played in California last year. We got another rookie punter. I hope he makes it. He's a rookie minicamp tryout. I hope he makes it. Just to put the pressure on, right? Like you brought in another guy in training camp last year. Of course, it was going to be Tory Taylor who was going to make the team. But he got a leg on him, bro. He's got a leg on him. Does Ozzie look comfortable on the left side? Yeah, again, there's no defense going at him. He's playing 7-on-7 drills, but he does look, for the most part, comfortable in certain one-on-one situations. I love how he said it, right? Like I do believe he's a tactician. I think that there's so much of his game where on the right side, he's comfortable. On the left side, he's thinking about, okay, this is where I need to go. This is my foot placement. I think I've seen a coach yell at him one time. Most of the time he's getting a good rep, a good rep, a good rep. Would you take Vita Vea in a second for DJ Moore today? I think you got some good pieces on this team on the defensive line. I didn't want to get that into Dennis Allen today. Didn't get a chance to, but I think you've got some good pieces on this team on the defensive line. Now, are they Vita Vea? No, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are, but you're building this thing up slowly. I don't think the Bears want to go about getting rid of pieces. And Declan Doyle talked about it today, right? He was like, listen, it's a good problem to have when there's one football and you got to keep guys engaged. And that's going to be the story of, what we're telling guys and how we're teaching guys. Like, we got to keep these guys engaged. But at the end of the day, if we're winning, we're winning. And so if you're complaining about the one football not coming your way enough, are we winning the game at the end of the day? And I think that's something where you'll see the Bears be able to navigate that, especially with a lot of the personalities that they have on this team. Was Turner calmed down more today than yesterday? No. I had to laugh at that. No. Even Dennis Allen talked about it today. And it's going to take time. It's not like he's not going to change his entire personality in one day. But no, he's excited. He's happy to be there. He's excited in the right. He's bubbling. He's bouncing. He's jumping. He's ready to go. He's ready to get after it. And Dennis Allen said, it's so much better. He said, we're going to have to break him in a little bit, but it's so much easier to be able to turn it down than it is to have to try and to turn it up. And so I think it's just going to take some time. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be a problem. But I thought that was hilarious when Dennis Allen said that today, because you can just see it. Shamar Turner's just telling, he never stops moving. That's why when Muzz are like, his motor runs hot. His motor is just always running. It never stopped running from when he was in college. It's still running on college. Like, what else do we got? Ozzy's been trading on both sides for years, so I'm sure he looks comfortable. He does look comfortable. We need 2 kickers, Santos for 40 yards to hit him at 99%, and then practice squad kid we can call up weekly who can hit 70-yard field goals. You want to know what's crazy? That's not a horrible idea, but it is interesting. That's not a horrible idea. What? Shamar turned up Crimson. Not a bad name. Not a bad name. Torrey Taylor need the offense to actually do something just to save his leg. V-Dog said, yo, Pat, is there anybody from the draftees or UDFAs you've noticed out there who has a legit shot to make the roster or PS behind the main wide receivers in DJ Rome and Luther Burden III? I talked about him. Yeah, I talked about JP Richardson. He's somebody who I have been locked in on at practice. I think that he's a extremely fun player to watch. I think he epitomizes Chicago. He is the dirty work. He's the hard hat and lunch pail. He's the I'm going to do what I got to do to get the job done. You know what I mean? That's what he is, and you love to see it. You love to see it. Anymore? Let's see. Turner was my favorite prospect at Texas A&M D-line. Yep. How's Declan doing as a first-time OC on the field watching and say he doesn't look confused? I mean, he doesn't look lost. There's a ton of help on this team, right? Declan Doyle is also the first-time OC that has Ben Johnson as the guy who's the head coach helping him as an OC. He doesn't seem lost. He seems confident in his what he's able to do. Again, I think Declan is here to help with certain play designs. He draws up some really good plays from what we've heard out of Denver. I think he's also here because he just went through a process of helping a quarterback in Bo Nix get comfortable in the situation that he's in, right? A young quarterback, and you want to replicate some of that here. So I think Declan is here for learning how to become an OC, but also, okay, these are the things you already do well, and we also need some of that here on this team. It's going to take time before we're looking at Declan Doyle as an elite OC, right? It just is. He's not going to be calling plays. We're not going to be worried about him. Doesn't mean that he doesn't understand how to design an offense, though. But yeah, man, day 2 in the books. I thought it was another good day. I thought that it was a better day than day 1, which is all you can hope for at this point. I think that that's the best situation for you to be in, and that's where you feel the most comfortable right now. If you are a Bears fan, that, hey, day 2 was better than day 1. We'll see if day 3 is better. Can't wait to be up there tomorrow. We'll see if Luther Burden is banged up, nicked up, if he has any issues that are going to be lingering. If he practices tomorrow, which, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I pray he practices tomorrow because I do not want all of this to become, again, I think he just landed on the ball. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him. But if he don't practice tomorrow, then it's like, okay, is this something for real? Like, was there something where he's banged up here? So we'll see what ends up happening. At a minimum, he'll have a nice sized bruise. I don't know if you've ever landed on a football and got the wind knocked out of you. It's not fun. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Of course, I'll be back with more content if any news breaks, and if anything else happens before tomorrow, we'll be back live, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love, and I didn't have nothing else. Peace. Thought I had something. I'm tired, y'all. Oh my God. I'm tired. Major Burns is making this team. He probably will, bro. He honestly probably will.